Hello, Richard from BudgetKeyboardist.com. You know, one of the most popular ways to imitate a grumpy old person is to use the phrase, "You kids today don't know how good you have it." That's usually followed by something like, "I had to walk uphill to school both ways in the snow," whatever. But I'm not going to say that kids today have it easy. I'm going to say that we all have it easy. And I mean, isn't that like a wonderful thing? Let's go back in time to the 80s. You heard the song "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" on the radio. And if you wanted to buy all the keyboards and drum machines and studio equipment to make that song yourself, you're talking about an amount of money that was more than what your dad made in an entire year. Heck, if you were a broke high school or college kid, like, you couldn't afford any of the gear used to make that song. I don't know, maybe a patch cable or a guitar pick. But if you want to duplicate the keyboard or drum machine sounds from the latest top 40 hit today, you can get pretty close on your home computer using free software or maybe relatively inexpensive software. So we've gone from totally out of reach to almost free. How could anyone, even a grumpy old man, complain about that? I don't get it. I don't understand. And if you're into physical gear, there are fairly inexpensive synths like the DeepMind out on the market that sound great and have tons of cool features. And there are some even cheaper synth boxes that sound great for under $300. If you want to make cool synth music, there's options at pretty much every price range, including free. As long as you have a computer, and who doesn't? I mean, if you don't have a computer, how are you watching this? When I finished college, I was recording music to a 4-track cassette with a DX27 and an HR16 Alesis drum machine. And it was hard to get motivated. I mean, I wanted a piano sound more than anything. DX27 did not sound like a piano. It had a lot of cool sounds, but not the sounds in my head. And I couldn't afford a sampler. So, I mean, I wrote and recorded less music because I didn't have the tools. That sounds like an excuse. Like, oh, if I only had such and such piece of gear. But back then it was true. Now it isn't. So that would mean that I'm more productive these days, though, right? Well, I am. Between 1983 and 2003, I put out 0 albums. Between 2004 and 2024, I put out 6. Because along with software synths, audio recording technology has gotten super powerful and you can make great sounding music at home. It used to be, for example, that a large diaphragm condenser mic was out of reach of anyone but the pros. The cheapest one was $1,200 back in the 80s. That was a lot of money. In the early 2000s, Rode came out with the NT1A for a mere $200, and everybody could have those wonderfully detailed vocals. And because of the internet, you can get your music out to the whole world. Now, you most likely won't make any money at it, unless you're like making music for licensing. But if you got into music to make a lot of money, that's never been easy, and it still isn't. And if that's your goal, good luck. More power to you. I made music my whole life. In 2000, the number of people on the planet who heard like any of my songs was probably around 600. Now that number is probably more like 500,000. I'm not famous, but I did get some music licensed. I'm not making much money, but again, I'm not in it for the money. I make music because I love to make music. I used to wish I had more keyboard sounds. And I mean, now I've got more sounds than I could possibly use. So part of the fun is going through them and like finding sounds that are interesting or that I think I might be able to use at some point. And with the Arturia stuff, it's really easy to like flag those presets. I haven't even touched on all the cool stuff I've learned on websites and mostly on YouTube. I mean, I got back into synths and started this channel after becoming a big fan of Alex Ball's YouTube channel. I've improved my knowledge of jazz piano chords, learned how to be a better bass player, better guitar player. I've learned how to use all of my gear. I can't measure how much stuff I've learned online for free. So yes, in my opinion, there has never been a better time to play keyboards. Pretty much any sound you want is available. Pretty much anything you want to learn is out there. And sharing your music with the world has never been easier. And I, for one, love it ever so much. Thank you very much for watching this short video, and I will see you next time.